Welcome to the Wholesome Show, the Would Run a Lamington Drive for Science podcast.
Fuck, I love a Lamington Drive. Seriously?
Yeah, Lamington
Seriously.
is
Can we do one now?
Greatest fundraising method ever.
Were you ever part of one?
Of course I was, but we would do it for science. Is what if we would finish.
I'd do it for anything.
Lamingtons for science all round.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'll do a Lamington Drive for anything.
Well, that's good. You would do it for anything. The Wholesome Show would do it for science.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the Lamington Drive podcast for science for people who sit up the back of the classroom.
In which we ask all the dumb questions so you don't have to.
That's our service.
That's all
That's
I
our
got.
service to you.
And Lamington Drives.
I'm Will Grant.
I'm Dr. Roderick Griffin Lamberts.
And we're joined today by...
Hello, Matthew Fung. What's up?
And Deanna Cato.
Welcome, guys. I'm joining Matt and Dee up the back of the classroom, and Rod's going to learn us something.
Yeah.
You seem worried, Will. Why
I'm
are you
never worried. I'm
Why
never
are you
worried.
You're twitching more than usual. None of this is going to be gross.
Yeah, we'll see.
I've let myself down. No, I want to look. Let's get into politics.
Oh, that's scarier.
No, this is really good politics, though. We're going to talk about why Hillary Clinton really lost the 2016 US election.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're on timing for this because it's only a couple of years late. So
Yeah, no, but we've been able to have the people in the lab to actually filter through the emails and all the other
finally,
Now
we're
we
gonna
know.
we're gonna get the real
stuff. Now
real
we know
truth.
why. So in March of 2016, she went on Jimmy Kimmel.
Yes.
And he gave a nice long interview with her about all kinds of policy matters, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point he asked her about UFOs, and she corrected his terminology. She said, no, there's a new name for that, in fact. They're called Unexplained Aerial Phenomena now. UAP, that's the latest nomenclature.
That's so lame. I'm sorry, but you can't beat UFO.
Yeah, I'm a UAP fetishist. Whatever, it sounds like an organisation.
I agree.
It does.
Yeah, it's balls. But so this surprised people. She immediately and very smoothly corrected his nomenclature. And apparently she vowed that barring any threats to national security, she would open up government files on the UFOs and UAPs, a shift from President Obama, who would typically dismiss it as a joke.
Barring any threats to national security. I mean, that's a pretty big gate that you can just say, I'm sorry, these are all threats to national security.
But she was prepared. She was prepared in early 2016, about March, to start saying, no, I'd look into the UFOs and stuff.
Okay, cool. And you're saying this is why she lost the election?
Look, I'm not saying it isn't why she lost the election.
All right.
And apparently her specific knowledge to get the UAP correction right got a lot of traction amongst a small but highly committed cohort of voters.
Are you serious? Here we go.
Yeah. And some even declared her the first ET candidate.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
No, it's really not.
Do you want to be the first ET candidate, the first whack job who might live in a trailer and grow a neck beard to understand that the truth is out there? I don't want to be that candidate.
What do you got against neckbeards?
Look, people living in a trailer that look at unexplained aerial phenomena, they grow weird facial hair, and that's one
Well, that's
part of it.
because you got to do it at night and a man's neck gets cold.
Absolutely.
So Clinton was apparently surprisingly at ease discussing the possibility of extraterrestrial beings.
Oh, there you go.
She said as president she would release information about Area 51. Area 51 is a secret hub where apparently the government stores classified information about aliens and UFOs. So Clinton said, I want to open the files as much as we can. And when she was asked if she believed in UFOs, she said, I don't know. I want to see what the information shows. But she added, there's enough stories out there that I don't think everybody is sitting in their kitchen just making them up. And when she was asked if we've been visited already, she said, look, I think we may have been, but we don't know for sure. So the question was this a political stunt? So this is unlikely because Americans typically talk about, the economy and terrorism, immigrants and stuff.
Or elections around the world typically talk about the economy. Maybe
Yes.
not terrorism so much.
Not as
but
much, yeah.
But okay, let's go economy and war and security. They might be big
Healthcare.
issues. UFOs, low.
Lower. Yes.
Low down on the
Yes.
agenda. I don't think UFOs would ever make top 10 in an Australian election.
God, I wish they would though.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
It'd be more interesting if they
Wouldn't
did.
it?
Can you imagine?
Whether that's a pro or anti-science vote is a question, but we don't need to answer that. It's also apparently when an Associated Press poll suggested that 63% of Americans do not believe in UFOs.
It's pretty high.
Fairly high. So it's unlikely it was a political call. But the UAP voters, the passionate small hub of folks, got very excited and they got up on social media and they were saying, one guy, Joseph G. Buckman, who spent decades calling for government transparency, he's saying Hillary has embraced this issue with an absolutely unprecedented level of interest in American politics.
What?
I know. Another guy, Steve Bassett, who lobbies the government on extraterrestrial issues.
Wow.
He's the extraterrestrial lobbyist.
Yeah, big industry, that one.
I'm just imagining shiny suits over the top of his neckbeard. He's
Tinfoil hat and everything.
yeah.
Well, who pays him to do that?
I don't know.
Lobbyists often get money. I don't know. I don't think he does. You get zoobles from Jupiter. So he thinks Clinton presidency would be a chance to finally get the US to disclose all it knows about life beyond Earth. Sorry, she lost, dude. Since 2014, Bassett's organisation has sent roughly 2.5 million Twitter messages to presidential candidates,
Oh, that's helpful.
etc.
Wow.
2.5 million.
Yeah, other elected officials
Yeah,
as well.
it sounds like a lot of other elected officials were paying a lot of attention to those 2.5
Oh,
million.
yeah. No, it really made a difference.
Yeah.
It got Trump elected. The movement viewed Clinton's decision to correct Kimmel's language, UFO to UAP, as some kind of a breakthrough because they said it suggested she'd been briefed by someone who's not just being flippant.
Oh, my God. Are we saying that the UFO versus UAP terminology is some sort of marker? It's
code, man.
It's a marker that you're in the real community.
Right now, they think we are too.
Well, no,
because we've gone UAP.
no, but we've ridiculed it, so we're probably not. Unless
No, we'll get serious.
Matt, if you wanted to be...
Are you closet UAPers?
UAP.
I'll never know.
So she was obviously briefed by someone who wasn't flippant about it. Let's bring in John Podesta. Do you remember John Podesta?
One of Clinton's chief of staff?
He was Clinton's chief of staff. He was counsel to Obama, and he was the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign.
Okay.
On October of 2016, WikiLeaks started to publish all the emails reportedly from his private Gmail account. So that was the whole Hillary Clinton email scandal.
Yeah, I remember that.
So Clinton was probably, it seems, prepped by Podesta, who's not only well respected in Washington, but a crusader for the disclosure of government information on unexplained phenomena that could prove the existence of intelligent life outside Earth. He's even written in a foreword to a book in 2010 called UFOs, Generals, Pilots and Government Officials Go on the Record. He only wrote the foreword, and he's saying the time to pull back the curtain on this topic is long overdue.
That sounds so ominous.
Doesn't it?
That sounds so like
It's my delicious honey time.
But hang on, he was in Obama's
council.
He was in there. He was in there. So he didn't have enough leverage then to get Obama to pull back the curtain.
Or did he? And he's just not telling us. Son of a bitch.
Maybe Obama was secretly released.
I do find it funny though that the people who've been right up in the higher echelons of government still want it revealed. Like, do they know and they're not allowed to say, or do they still not know? Like they didn't get to ask the right questions.
This shit goes really high up and really low down.
Oh, God.
So on CNN, Jake Tapper grabbed Podesta aside. He was on a show called The Lead. Our millions of American listeners will know all about that. He wanted to talk about aliens, and so question came, or the comment rather, Podesta said, the US government could do a much better job in answering the quite legitimate questions that people have about what's going on with unidentified aerial phenomena. He also asked for some information about some of these things, particularly in Area 51, and wasn't getting very far. But it's interesting. They say the Clinton presidency, like the original William Jefferson
Bill,
coincided with the hit series The X-Files when it was really going off, and Independence Day. So all these things were happening at the same time. So Podesta was an X-Files fanatic. He ran a fan club for the show out of the Clinton White House.
No way.
Oh my God.
This guy's so in deep right now.
I know.
This is ridiculous.
he ran a fan club. I'm just imagining, like, he's got his daily calendar and he's making sure he's got 20 minutes of time every day for a little bit of fan club. Got to update the blog.
Love Fox. In 99, he had an X-Files themed 50th birthday that the Clintons attended.
What do you mean?
Oh my gosh.
So when Podesta was asked if there is evidence of alien life, he says, that's for the public to judge once they've seen all the evidence that the US government has.
Okay.
And when it comes to his own beliefs, he apparently said there are a lot of planets out there and the American people can handle the truth.
Okay.
So when he finally left the White House, he posted on Twitter, finally, my biggest failure of 2014, once again, not securing the hashtag disclosure of the UFO files, hashtag the truth is still out there. So that was his biggest failure.
But he wasn't. He's a crusader, but he didn't leak it himself or anything like that. He
didn't crusade that hard, did he?
He didn't grab the files and leave them in a car park somewhere.
And run and just, I got to tell the world.
This is worth my job.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of television about the president, and the chief of staff has a lot of power
Exactly.
Yeah.
on every show.
Yeah.
So he was the chief of staff to Bill. Bill was stoned and playing the saxophone most of the time.
So he could have just typed
don't see a
in,
problem.
I, Bill Clinton, in brackets, not quite, give me all the files on Area 51.
Billish Clinton.
My God.
So Clinton often spoke about her childhood aspirations to be an astronaut, and she is apparently quite sympathetic to Podesta's efforts and attitudes. A couple of years earlier, she was photographed visiting Lawrence S. Rockefeller billionaire philanthropist and maniac for all things supernatural.
Oh, okay.
And under her arm was a copy of Are We Alone? Philosophical Implications of the Discovery of Extraterrestrial Life by Paul Davies.
Okay.
Which is apparently scandalous. Before she had that meeting, though, the director of the White House's Office of Science Technology Policy warned Hillary about Rockefeller and said, look, he spent a lot of years pressuring the government to release the 1947 crash data of Roswell. So, you know, Roswell was originally, there was a mysterious downed object called variously a flying disc or a flying saucer.
Yep.
The US Army decided that it was operating out of the Walker Air Force Base, and they characterized the debris as largely consisting of tinfoil and rubber, aka a weather balloon.
Yep.
According to this source, that was an obvious Cold War obfuscation. In 1994, possibly in response to Rockefeller's lobbying, the Air Force issued a report stating that the downed balloon was actually part of Project Mogul, an ultra-secretive project monitoring sound waves generated by Soviet nuclear testing.
Hey, there you go. It's a Russian accent.
You can always get a Russian accent. There is no episode that is not complete. So, yeah, many doubted the story. Go figure. Lots of stories about alien corpses, etc., etc. At Roswell, some people think there was an actual autopsy filmed. Others disagree. So anyway, this is the kind of guy that Hillary was meeting with. This is what Rockefeller was like. So when she started to talk openly about UFOs, government disclosures, etc., some of the activists went, well, she's been into this for years. This means she's really into it. She means it.
She's one of us.
Yeah, she's one of us. And so her meeting with Rockefeller had all the conspiracy theorists and Hollywood artists and writers going, this is sweet. So Chris Carter, the guy who made the X-Files, said, look, if I have to become a fundraiser to get an invite to her opening up the files, I'll do it.
Hey, so Chris Carter,
he would pay money to
he's
get
a
her
believer.
elected so he could be there. Well, he knows the truth is out. No, what is it? I want to believe.
I thought he just made TV, but he
But
actually
you can
cared.
believe and make TV.
Okay,
You
fair
can't make TV without faith, man. So the subset of Americans who are into this sort of stuff say the government is covering up what it knows about aliens. They're incredibly vocal on social media, as we know, and they just considered Clinton's turn to be, this is sweet, it's all going to go off now. It didn't. Other activists don't care as much about her vowing to open it, but they wanted prominent politicians to seriously acknowledge that humans may not be the only intelligent life in the universe.
This is a classic mistake of lobbying, though, just to critique their efforts here.
Yes, you should. You should.
Like lobbyists in general are more successful if they put their eggs in multiple baskets.
Yes.
You'll see, for example, lobbyists in many countries will donate to both parties.
Yes.
So I just got to say to the
Trump would eat this shit up.
he would love this shit.
Yeah, like
all
why would you
over
waste
it.
your time on fucking Clinton when you got Trump sitting there going, I believe anything.
And you just hear, and he like, I believe that there are aliens. Like, you can just hear him saying that.
Oh, not only believe, like, I'm going to find the hugest alien files. We're going to find that we got them behind.
We got the best alien.
Believe me. You tell me. So, according to Christopher Mellon, who is a former intelligence official at the Defense Department and on the Senate Intelligence Committee, it shouldn't be a source of embarrassment to discuss these things. We should be humble in terms of recognizing the extreme limits of our own understanding of physics and the universe. So let's get humble. Let's discuss them seriously.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So there's a great piece I was reading. I enjoyed this very much. Kevin Knuth, because he's American, he would pronounce all the letters. So it's probably Knut. He's an associate professor of physics at Albany State Uni, and in 2018 he wrote this little piece just before World UFO Day, July 2nd. You all knew that.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry to
July
embarrass
2nd.
you. He just wrote in the lead up to last year's day. For those of you listening in the future, it's 2019 for us. God knows what it is for you. I hope it's beautiful, and you still have a climate. He was saying it's a good time for society to address the unsettling and refreshing fact that we may not be alone. So he's saying, I believe we need to face the possibility that some of the strange flying objects that outperform the best aircraft in our inventory and defy explanation could be indeed visitors from afar.
Okay.
And there's plenty of evidence to support sightings. And he starts off by citing the Fermi paradox. We've all heard of this. It's basically
I have.
Enrico Firmi is a physicist. He said, look, there's 300 billion stars in the galaxy, let's say. Many of them billions of years older than the sun.
So just in the galaxy. So there's a lot of other galaxies.
Just the
as well.
galaxy. Yep. Billions of years older than the sun in many cases. A large percentage of them probably has habitable.
Hobbits.
Also habitable planets.
Just hobbits.
Hobbits. Just hobbits. Hobbits can live under any conditions. They're very
Absolutely.
resilient beings.
Hairy feet.
Even if intelligent life developed only a small percentage of them, there would still be a buttload of intelligent civilizations, depending on the time and distance. There could be thousands of them.
Exactly.
If they've had millions of years to develop their technology, they should have visited us by now at least a little bit. That's the
Or we
paraphrase.
should just hear from them at least.
We should, yeah,
Like
like,
if they got TV.
hello?
Like presumably,
Hello?
as civilizations get closer and closer to perfection, then
They get Netflix.
They get well, no, Netflix is on the internet. You can't get that, but TV that's broadcasting.
You can
that's the one we
broadcast the internet.
No, I think that's
Or-
the flaw. You know,
Can't you broadcast the internet?
no, it's on cables. The internet mostly is on cables. But
What about satellites?
okay, yeah, fair enough. But broadcast towers, they're the one, they're the powerful ones. That's when civilization has achieved perfection, and you're sending color images of Hitler out into space.
Yes.
How about this, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we're looking at it from the wrong angle. Maybe it's not that the other societies aren't advanced enough. It's that we're so far behind. They drive past us and they're like, oh,
Stay away from.
wind the window up. Because
Yeah,
Are we the real?
You don't want to
the-
catch humans.
Yeah,
look.
maybe
Yeah.
We're
we
the dumbest by far.
Look what we're doing to our planet.
I
What do
get
you
that.
mean?
I get that, but there's got to be someone else that's roughly as dumb as us.
I don't think so. I think everyone else is hella smart, and everyone's just like,
Or,
wow.
or they were all dumber than us, and we're the only ones left.
Oh, you don't say that.
Isn't that uplifting?
That's terrifying.
And refreshing.
So the paradox, the
Unsettling.
paradox then is, where are they?
Where the hell are they?
Yep.
But of course, the problem is there's not been a single well-documented UFO encounter that would qualify like as the smoking gun for them existing, unless you're a conspiracy theorist, in which case they're everywhere. We just haven't seen them.
Yep.
So the situation is exacerbated by the fact, apparently, that governments cover up stuff. He reckons, this author, that there are enough scraps of evidence to suggest we need to do proper scientific study, at least, of what's going on. Part of the problem then, of course, is UFOs are taboo for professional scientists. If you get up there, you imagine now you're at the illustrious Australian National University, as we all are, and you go to a physics professor and say, dude, I want to do UFOs and shit for my honours degree.
Yeah, nah.
Like, aren't you adorable? Yeah. Let's say, why don't you go to alien civilization studies? It's down the road. Yeah, a lot of crickets.
There's a lot of crickets
a lot
on
of-
this button.
wow.
Yeah. So they're saying, you can't really test it with the scientific method because you can't really sort of, set up hypotheses very usefully and falsify it, blah, blah, blah. But in his view, the real problem is it's generically taboo. So this author says UFOs are off limits to serious scientific study and rational discussion.
It's like ghosts. You can't
Which-
put them up either.
No, you're not. You're not allowed to.
It's hard.
We've been constrained by big
man.
anti-ghost.
It's
Won't let
the
us study
man.
ghosts.
Big sheet doesn't want us to know. So they're saying we are. It gets relegated to the realm of fringe scientists, pseudoscientists, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So he thinks that science has basically said all UFO sightings are weather phenomena or human actions.
But it is true though. Like
Yes.
a lot of topics are laughed off stage before people actually go and look at them.
Well, we've had a chuckle ourselves.
Indeed, we're talking jokes here straight away. That if anyone came to me and said, "I want to do UFOs for my career," I would
say yes immediately. Finally, a PhD student I fucking want to work with.
That is Rod's pitch out
yep,
to the world.
yep.
If you want to do your PhD on UFOs and UAPs, come to Roderick Lambert.
I am your
Everyone-
huckleberry. Like
Everyone around
bang
would
on
say,
my door.
finally, someone who's happy to throw away their life to go and do it.
Oh, jeez.
you cannot trash a career that you don't really have.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true.
In
That's
my
true.
defense, what do you give the man? What is it? Man who has nothing, something broken? That's what I'll take. I'm about to go and leave. My view's very grim. So he reckons skepticism about UFOs has become pretty much like religious zeal, the skepticism. The people are so excited by it, they can't really even imagine a world where it's not possible, where it is possible. So blah, 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 scientists should do more. He also says, look, we do science a disservice by not deciding to look into the few examples that exist that haven't been explained.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
down
okay
with
with
that.
that
I'm
too.
fine for other scientists to go and do that, but
Not me.
not me. No,
You
You just
first.
take a back seat.
no. Look, there's a lot of science that I would like to read rather than actually do. So
I would totally do UFOs. He also blames the media for amplifying skepticism, publishing information when it's exciting, but not when it's actually
the
solid.
goddamn media.
Always blame the media.
Yep, always have a mocking tone. But he says, but there are credible witnesses and encounters.
How many
So,
are there?
6.
Examples? Okay.
6.
6.
Is it really 6? No.
I was like, damn. That's
Oh, we're going to get to a few. So one of the questions he says is, well, why don't astronomers see UFOs given they look at space all the time?
And UFOs, that's where they are.
Yeah.
They
They're in
are.
space. Like if you're going
Flying or not
anywhere
flying.
in the place around us.
In space.
Space. That's the one I'm thinking.
There's UFO between us, man.
But this is the unexplained aerial phenomena. Aren't there any like unexplained dirt phenomena that are aliens?
No.
Or
No.
or ocean phenomena that are aliens?
No,
There's got to be something
not
in
one.
the ocean.
Everything on the world is explained.
There's
Okay,
got to
fair.
be something in the ocean.
Okay.
Something funky.
Everything.
Yeah,
The
well,
ocean's completely
like
understood.
Squid and stuff exists.
Yo, squid
And
is
they're
hella
like-
crazy.
Yeah.
Tasty too.
Not alien though. It's just
Well,
squid.
if you,
I mean, have you seen the headlines? They're like, squids are out of this world. You know, they
Oh.
have alien
All right.
DNA.
here's my question, right? If you-
Conspiracy.
You know what the big problem with squid is? I'm going to jump in front of you,
Go,
Matt.
go,
The
go,
big
go.
problem is they found the squid that was called, and it was enormous, as the colossal squid.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then they found a bigger one. They went, oh, it's the giant
geez.
squid.
Mega colossal.
but but the
No.
giant squid is bigger than the colossal squid.
That's
And I
wrong.
think, yeah, it's
No,
a
that's
failing
wrong.
of nomenclature.
Science is shit.
a failing of nomenclature.
I'm going to go back
Yeah.
to the
Taxonomy is
International
garbage.
Squid Board and complain about that.
No, you've heard it here first. We are against taxonomy because it's dumb.
Sorry, Matt.
It's okay. Listen, I'm just saying, if you were like, say you just, had never seen a squid before, and you're like, okay, I know what a human looks like. This is what it looks like. And you saw a squid, and you're like, you tell me that's not look. doesn't
What's the
look
squid
alien.
Especially
doing?
the giant squid.
Just in.
Yeah.
It's
But what's
just
it
chilling.
doing?
You're
Is
in the
it-
water, and all of a sudden, oh, squid.
Is it operating equipment though? Like, is it reading? Is it waving a device at me?
I don't know.
'Cause that's what
Just
I
look
do.
at a squid and tell me it doesn't look alien.
Oh, it looks
I'm down
alien.
with that. Yeah,
It
squid
looks
is the
alien.
most alien looking
and
thing
if it looks
there
like an
is.
alien, therefore it must be an alien.
Bravo.
Well, duh.
Talk to
Clearly,
me.
isn't that how science works?
Yes. So
And
apparently,
it's got an odd number of limbs, which is wrong.
Odd.
See?
Yeah,
Yeah, odd.
How odd?
as in uneven number. Like we have
How many does it
4
have?
limbs. Octopuses have 8 limbs. Spiders have 8 limbs. Ants have 6.
Millipedes have 20.
Squids have 9.
No.
I think it's 9. I was hoping someone would get the number before.
Well, technically, kangaroos are considered
5
tetrapedal.
or 3.
No, 5.
5?
Three-limbed.
Yeah, but
Maybe they're aliens.
that's just a big ass tail, and they just thought
They
let's
use
go
it
with
like
that.
a limb, man.
Okay, fair enough. But it is very rare to have an odd number of limbs.
Yeah, aliens. We're right.
Sea stars. Sea stars. There you go.
So anyway, why don't astronomers see UFOs? Apparently some have.
What?
So there's a study in, to be fair, 1977.
Sweet.
Fair enough.
Science's pinnacle.
So everyone cast your mind back. Everyone's got a mullet
Yes.
and a mo. Even the ladies have a mullet and a mo.
I didn't have a mo. I was only 10.
There you go.
yeah.
Peter Sturrock, he's a professor of space science and astrophysics at Stanford, mailed out 2,500 questionnaires to the American Astronomical Society. He got nearly 1,500 back, which is phenomenal in the olden days and on paper. 62 astronomers, so 4.5 and a bit percent, reported seeing things they could not explain. Inexplicable aerial phenomena, IAPs.
Oh.
I know, right? Obviously aliens.
But surely
that's it.
science is always looking for things that they can't explain. That's the point of science.
Oh, fuck, you're
Like,
so theoretical.
I just want to slow everyone down. If astronomers are only looking at things they can explain,
Yeah.
like
They're screwing up.
that's a pretty.
Yeah, look at that. The moon again.
I got it. Oh,
Write it down.
yep. Moon.
Yes.
Moon.
The sea of
Hey,
tranquility.
hey, Gary, let's do the sun again.
Yeah,
let's do
it's
the
true.
sun. I got
We'll
that
do it.
one.
Which sun? Ours. Great. So much closer. We can take samples.
Yeah, science is about the unexplained.
But
so-
80% of these, all the people who returned surveys were willing to study UFO phenomenon if there was a way to do so.
okay.
Okay.
More than half of them thought the topic deserved to be studied, but 20% of them said, no, screw that. Also, amazingly, younger scientists were more likely to support UFO studies than older ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. There's evidence from government and military officials, apparently. So, according to this guy, some of the most convincing observations have come from government officials. 1997, the Chilean government formed the organization Comité de Estudios de Fenómenos Aéreos Anómalos, CEFAA, to study UFOs. They released footage in 2017 of a helicopter-mounted webcam with a UFO in it. In the camera, in the footage.
Ah, okay.
It came from helicopters,
Oh,
so
no,
it's
yeah.
technology. I know, right? Allegedly, Brazil, Canada, Denmark, Ecuador, France, New Zealand, Russia, Sweden, and the United Kingdom have been declassifying their UFO files since 2008.
I noticed Australia was not in that list.
Not at all. So all these countries have been releasing and declassifying files. The French Committee for In-Depth Studies,
Is there a non-in-depth study committee?
Yeah,
So
the,
everything else clearly.
the Committee for Superficial
There's also
Studies.
the French Committee for Lazy.
Yeah, for like, what's your opinion on this?
Have a little look at this.
I don't know. I think he's maybe a shit. So they had an unofficial UFO study group comprising of high-ranking scientists and military officials, and a summary of their findings in the 1990s concluded 5% of the encounters were reliable yet inexplicable. The best hypothesis available was the observed craft were extraterrestrial. Now, I contest that, but that's what they said. They also accused the United States of covering up evidence of UFOs. Iran have been concerned about spherical UFOs observed near nuclear power facilities. They call them CIA drones. but they're apparently about 30 feet around and can get up to speeds of Mach 10 and leave the atmosphere.
Wow, that's fast.
That's a hell of a drone.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And
Mach
spherical.
10 and atmospheric
Yeah,
leaving.
spherical as well. Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, that's not fair. They're probably discs. They're diameter.
They're moving fast. You can't always see. Yeah.
Mach 10 and leaving the atmosphere is
Mach
pretty
10 is
impressive.
very impressive.
It's going to get better. December 2017, New York Times broke a story about the classified Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, $22 million program run by former Pentagon official Luis Elizondo, which was aimed at studying UFOs. They reported UFOs traveling at more than 5 times the speed of sound, but without any sonic booms.
Oh, okay.
So moving very fast, but not actually
None of
generating any evidence of it.
Yeah,
So
sneaky moves.
so it was kind of just an
And like
I
they
reckon.
recorded it too.
Yeah, maybe they weren't actually there.
Slip space.
Yeah.
How dare you?
I'm just poking some holes.
How dare you?
Yeah.
You used to be cool, man.
Jumping
Nah.
into warp.
Nah, he's almost 40.
Good call, good call. Get it out of your system. UFOs were unexpectedly mobile. They travelled so fast they would have to experience gravitational forces or G-forces that far exceed the limits of human endurance and our aircrafts. Apparently, these things were observed pulling 400 to 500 Gs.
What?
To be clear, the top-end fighting machines, fighting planes of the US Air Force would get to 16 or 18 Gs.
So is that like acceleration or turns or something like that?
Acceleration.
Yeah, all right, well,
Human body can stand about 9 before passing out or, turning into goo, shitting yourself first because you've got to make it classy.
Cool.
So 4 to 500 Gs they're claiming, human body limit 9.
So the aliens have an awesome sphincter. They can hold it in up to 400
I think they're all
Gs.
sphincters. They're pretty much covered in them.
It's
I got my own theory.
The
Listen,
sphinctoids.
listen, right? There's like human organisms and human organs. They're all carbon based, right? Everything on Earth is carbon based. What if?
Silicon.
Maybe. What if?
Diamond.
Maybe.
Let him finish.
You never know.
Still carbon. Sorry, carry on.
Imagine if, because there are a multitude of other planets that have different environments,
Yeah.
different ways of, putting together their atoms. I think like Mercury has an atmosphere full of nitrogen or something like that. One of the planets, they'd have crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Who's to say that aliens developed in the same way that we did?
No one can.
Maybe
Yeah.
these aliens that are going like 400, 500 Gs are
they-
just like slime. And
They,
just like,
they grew up
Yeah.
on a dwarf star or something like that.
They
It's
started
very
as
heavy.
goo. They stay as goo. I got no beef with that. I hope
Maybe.
it's true.
think about it.
I am. Hang on.
Where's my? Yeah, there it is.
We need to think music. Ding, ding.
I just think the overlap between slime and making a
Spaceship.
spaceship.
You
Yeah,
never know.
It's
Haven't you watched the Orville?
Haven't Haven't you watched
not
the
science.
Uri-
It's not science. It's TV. It's TV.
No. It's half of it is science fiction. It's half science.
fiction? God.
Half of it is science.
See?
The other half is fiction.
Exactly.
The slime guy's probably the science part.
Maybe.
You don't know it's not. So Elizondo resigned from the program, protesting extreme secrecy and the lack of funding and support.
Oh.
There was a History Channel documentary that I haven't got to see yet, but I'd love to, where he did not reveal that UFOs were actually alien spacecraft all along, which is a bit like, finally I'm going to open the curtain. Yeah, they're not. But he said delving into long hidden accounts of UFO investigations will hopefully encourage people and authorities in particular to overcome long-standing stigmas, talk more openly about the mysterious aircraft, some of which may pose a bigger threat than we realise. Threat time.
So Independence Day is what you're saying.
Yeah, or other. We'll get to that. So a lot of the UFO sightings from reported to this program, the AATIP, were eventually resolved. They were aerial drones, test firings of new types of missiles, blah, 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 looked at from unusual angles. But many astonishing UFOs still defied explanation, and there simply isn't enough evidence, however, to suggest that they belong to extraterrestrials. So he's kind of trying to beat both ways.
So he's saying there's stuff we don't know about, but jumping to the conclusion that it's come from another part of the galaxy.
Yeah.
That's a big call.
Because the more unsettling prospect is that it's not an alien invasion, it's a foreign adversary with developed technologies that are way beyond ours.
Maybe.
So that's the scary part of this.
Apparently. The American military mind, man.
Fair enough.
What if it's other non-white men with fast ships that are scary?
Look,
That's pretty much the attitude.
in fairness, if it's super fast and threatening, does it matter if it's coming from Mars or from Iran?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Terrifying either way.
Yeah. So he thinks the government officials do not take the threats seriously enough. As a quick aside, there's great when reading through this story. Some of the comments I really enjoyed. I'm just going to call out one now because we need a brief breather. So, according to this commenter, actually, obviously, UFOs are cover for time travelers.
Sure.
Oh, see, now this is a
That makes so
I can
much
get behind
sense.
this.
You're down on time travel? Time travel
Sick.
is my number 5 with a bullet. On my YouTube lists of weird science fiction, it's growing very fast.
No.
People
This is
believe in
obviously
time travel.
true. This commenter knows it's impossible because they have impossible flight characteristics and an uncanny ability to remain undetected and leave no solid evidence. So he's saying if I were visiting from the future, I'd set up something like Roswell, etc., because that'd be my first course of action. Because then all future sightings would be conveniently explained away as some kind of alien. Because that'd be ridiculous.
Look, to step back, I mean, one of the core tenets of explanation of phenomena is Occam's razor. That we should take the simplest explanation for phenomena. So if there's something that's really weird, let's find out a simple explanation for a complex one. So what
is alien simple or complex?
Well, what I'm going to say is if we're going through the lists of simple things, which is actually more implausible, time traveler or visitor from a distant star?
Time traveler.
They're both a long way out there, and there's they both
time traveler because we're pretty sure about physics comparatively.
Both of these are physics. Both of these are physics.
Aliens aren't physics, man.
No, these are both
slime,
pushing the bounds
this.
of physics.
So which one do you think is least plausible?
I think they're both similarly implausible.
Which is why they should go together.
Time traveling aliens.
There you go.
Space
I'm
between
an alien
space.
from the year 3000.
King of the crystal skull. It's back.
So he's saying basically all these comments, etc., doesn't matter. The fact that there's entrenched secrecy shrouding UFO investigations reinforces the association of UFOs with tinfoil hats and dumb stories. So that's his ultimate concern. Because you're associated with whack jobs, you can't actually look into them properly. Flash forward a year and people are.
Okay.
So in 1919, also 2019, you choose, whatever century you prefer. Let's take this one. It turns out official people have started to take this sort of UFO stuff seriously, but for boring reasons. Oh. So, it's a bit
That's the only reason that official people can take things seriously.
Wait a minute. I found a bland reason. Let's get into it.
They can't take them seriously for fun reasons.
No.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, like you get to the panel of funders and say, wouldn't it be cool? Okay, that's it? Yeah, that's all I got.
You're gone.
Naff off. So, Professor of Aerospace Engineering at Uni of Michigan, Ian Boyd, he says US Navy pilots and sailors won't be considered crazy for reporting unidentified flying objects anymore under new rules, which is meant to encourage them to track them. This has begun.
Hang on, they've got rules to say they won't be considered crazy.
Yeah, you're not allowed to consider them crazy. We legislate against your opinion.
That sounds dangerous. That's the start of Independence Day. That's
You are really going on. You're loving Independence Day.
Tell me I'm lying.
I don't think you're lying. I think you believe everything you're saying, man.
I do.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, listen.
So what do the new rules say?
They say report it.
Oh.
Why have they changed it? Because this is only a few years after that program we just talked about got shut down. So the author says, have they changed it because the US military is finally coming around to the idea that alien spacecraft are visiting our planet? The answer to that question is almost certainly no. Humans' misinterpretation of observations of natural phenomena are something we do all the time and have done for years. Driftwood looks like the Loch Ness Monster, manatees look at mermaids, blah, 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 blah. SpaceX rockets have been confused with weird alien creatures as well because of luminescent chemtrails poisoning our brains.
Space driftwood.
Yep. But this guy used to be a science advisor to the Air Force, and he says, I believe that the Pentagon wants to avoid this type of confusion. So it needs to better understand flying objects it can't identify. So during a military mission, whether in peace or war, if a pilot or soldier can't identify an object, they have a serious problem. How should they react without knowing if it's neutral, friendly, or threatening?
Shoot it down.
Yeah, blow it up.
Shoot it down.
Kill the fucker.
Yep.
Fortunately, the military can use advanced technology to try and identify things. So he wants to take the U out of UFO.
The shoot it down technology.
He wants to keep that,
Okay.
but he doesn't want to shoot down things you shouldn't shoot down. So he turns it into military strategy. He's basically saying a UFO represents a gap in situational awareness.
Fair enough.
The military term for having a complete understanding of the environment in which you're operating.
Okay.
So he's reframed it basically. And apparently, well, not only he's reporting on a reframing of this. So now when a Navy pilot sees something strange, all they could do, or up until now, is ask other pilots and air traffic controllers, you see that shit too? Anything else you can report on it? But apparently the UFO reports are peaking at around 8,000 a year at the moment. And even the most heavily documented ones end up unresolved, even with dozens of witnesses, lots of reviews of documents.
8,000 a year?
8,000 a year.
That's higher than I thought.
It's a buttload. I know. I was a bit surprised myself. And so basically what he's done is say, look, not knowing what they are should not translate into a bunch of whack jobs. It should translate into what are they?
Let's just document stuff.
Yeah, what the hell's going on? So he says UFOs represent an opportunity for the military to improve the way it identifies shit.
Okay.
It's training. Because, Humvees, battleships, airplanes, satellites, etc. are covered in sensors. They're not all passive. So there's radar, sonar, LiDAR, things that actually go out there and try and identify. They don't just take pictures. Military vehicles are rarely alone. They travel in convoys or in groups or sail in fleets, etc. And there's always satellites around them. So maybe they can use military vehicles to get a more complete picture.
Okay. Smart.
Yeah. It's just not as exciting. They're not saying looking for aliens, but they're looking for aliens for sure.
It's an underlying message.
Yeah, I know.
It's totally there.
We just don't talk about it. So with all the data, they're saying you can basically triangulate all this stuff. The military's stepping up, working on autonomy and artificial intelligence algorithms, etc., to try and identify what's going on.
Sweet.
So bring in the robots to find the aliens. Why wouldn't you?
That's going to end well.
This doesn't sound like any of those like dystopian science fiction movies or anything.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds great. I think it sounds great. It sounds like a warm doona on a cold day. It's so relaxing.
Well, is it?
No, it's
Is
terrifying.
that like the
Unsettling and refreshing.
Yeah. There it is.
I'm not refreshed by robots hunting for aliens.
I'm not refreshed by the footage of robots anymore. Like, look, do you see the one where people were bashing this robot, pushing it over to watch it get back up again, or they're throwing it boxes, it catches the box?
I just don't like that.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Look, I think that's a bad trajectory. Let's not be mean to
No, but
robots.
Guys, that was a joke.
It wasn't funny.
That whole video was a joke. So
What?
So the video that I think you're describing is, it's Boston Dynamics, right?
Yeah.
The whole
Make a lot of awesome robots.
Yep. And
Basically, the Cyberdyne systems of reality.
yes.
Yeah.
So they parodied it. The group was called Corridor Digital, and they parodied it saying Boss Town Dynamics,
Right.
and then they got someone in a green suit to pretend to be the robot.
Thank God.
And then they
Beat it up and threw things at it.
Exactly.
I
Thank
think
God.
you're ruining Rod's story.
I feel a lot.
No,
I feel a
I'm
lot
relieved.
calmer because I'm just worried about
I get it.
setting the wrong mood
I
with these
understand.
robots that one day will be our overlords.
Yeah.
I want to start off on the right.
So
foot.
now I feel just refreshed and not unsettled. So thank you. I'm glad.
It's all
I'm very
good.
glad.
It's fake. It's all good. Don't worry.
I'm glad it's
But
fake.
again, don't kick a robot.
I'm
Just
still
don't.
worried about what Will said though with the whole robot overlords.
I know that's coming. Don't worry.
I can't wait.
We've got to play our
Future.
cards
Ooh.
right over the next 3 years to make sure that the robot overlord is nice.
Okay,
and
I
not
love
an-
robots. I've
an
always
evil
loved
ro-
robots. I'm
Yeah.
just going to put it out there. I love
Yeah.
robots.
All billion
Overlords,
listeners.
Do you
please
know?
hear me.
Do you know something we don't know?
Well, look,
are you from the future?
I am just
He's a time traveler.
No, I'm just flagging to you all that if Rocco's basilisk comes into being,
Yeah.
Cannot get
you just make sure it's the good one.
All right. You're
Okay.
right.
He loves that. We did a thing
Whole
on that
episode.
years ago.
Yeah.
So they want to try and move towards AI to identify things or at least look at anomalies. But he's saying we still need people at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Because we fuck it up.
we don't have a lot of training data for
No.
in AI. You need training data of if you're identifying dogs or cats in photos, you can
Yeah.
say dog, 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 cat, cat, dog, 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 cat, cat. You
Yeah.
can't really work on unexplained phenomena. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
go, oh, aliens. Look, that's an
Yeah,
alien.
that's
an
not a
alien.
dog or a cat.
That's
Must be an alien.
Yeah, I don't think we don't have any positive IDs yet.
Or even cites an example from a Google experiment where they tried to get an image recognition algorithm to tell the difference between a panda and a gibbon. And if you change a few pixels, it goes, oh, you know what that is anymore.
It's an alien.
Jeez.
It's an alien.
It's an alien. Anyway, but he thinks the Navy's new approach is a good first step. The fact that they're trying to identify and see what's going on, that's great. It might eventually lead to fully comprehensive systems. So with any luck, they'll get there. And that means there'll be fewer UFOs in the sky because they won't be you anymore, as in unidentified.
They'd just be FOs. Not
Let's
as fun.
just we'll take a breather and get into the comment stream on this article because I enjoyed that. It's really only 2.5 people. There are 85 comments, and they closed it. And basically, one of the earliest ones is, "This is so misleading and so misguided, it makes me want to scream." The fact is, I love it. If it says the fact, you know it's going to be good. The fact is that the military knows all about extraterrestrial visitors and has even been working in cooperation with them since the 1940s.
Wow.
Duh. There are dozens of former military personnel, including officers, that are testifying in public about their contact with these beings while working in classified projects. He lists a bunch of names and then says There's this guy, Stephen Greer, and the Disclosure Project have collected 100 former military eyewitnesses who are willing to testify in front of Congress under oath that ETs are here and the military knows about it. So this guy kind of chimes around in the background. Then another guy kicks off. The writer of this article may be a professor of aerospace engineering, but that doesn't automatically make him knowledgeable on the UFO phenomena.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, he is clearly just a novice. Absolutely. And then they basically fight with each other through the rest of the comment stream,
Right.
with the first guy occasionally chiming in and out.
Sweet.
Which is good fun. I'd love to get the three of them on stage. Like, just get the three of them and just push the go button and watch them fly. It'd be awesome. But they're probably not using real names. So if we get back to Serious Boy, back to Ian Board, the professor who wrote it. He says, look, this is a topic worthy of serious study. There's a great deal of evidence that a small percentage of UFO sightings are unidentified structured craft exhibiting flight capabilities beyond any known human technology. So he's not saying ET or anything. He's just saying we don't know anything about shit that can do this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, there's no single case, no single smoking gun that would stand up to scientific rigor. Yeah. But there are cases with simultaneous observations by multiple reliable witnesses, even with radar returns and photographic evidence revealing patterns of activity that are compelling. So he reckons declassifying information from the studies would be interesting, but it's not scientifically helpful. We need to open it up more to actually study it, get more information, etc.
Okay.
There's a scientific consensus based on evidence rather than prior expectation of belief if we do this. If there are extraterrestrial craft
Sweet.
visiting Earth, it would be great to know more about them.
Sweet.
Which is fair. But also, not only the universe stuff, but also, again, if it is our enemies, you know, the evil people who aren't us middle-aged white men with too much money.
Represent
So basically,
that. Represent.
I mean, there's a pro and con to this. The upside is it's not over and people are starting to take it more seriously. The downside is why they might be taking it seriously or how. I figure this is the 2020 US presidential candidate. I reckon Joe Biden should get onto this shit. It's a vote winner for sure.
I wouldn't if I was...
Bernie Sanders is the guy then.
If I was running for president, I would sort of steer clear. Just Hillary Clinton is a good
But
example.
why though? When you look at what you're up against Trump now, right? So if you just get up there going, you know what? UFOs, extraterrestrials, and you just keep yelling that down the microphone.
Look, I get it.
Probably get a third of the votes.
I'm a believer in transparency, and opening things up might be good, but I don't think this is a vote winner. So
Here's my question. You get a call. Hey, come to Area 51. You going?
Done.
You going?
Yep. 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Oh, 1,000%, of course.
What's scary? What's not scary? But what's more? Imagine if you just go to Area 51 and it's just a bunch of files. And that's it.
Of course it is.
Can I read the files?
No, but there's not like...
So is this
nothing.
you get a call and you get to see everything, or you get a call and you get the press tour? You know,
don't know.
who knows? Who knows?
What are they gonna
Here's our cafeteria. If you want to take a shower, it's down the corridor on the left.
Look, governments have been secretive forever.
What?
Like what? Like the mid.
Do you have evidence?
We can't. There's no evidence because...
But the Middle Ages equivalent of Area 51 is the secret Vatican. You know, underneath the Vatican is reams of...
Actually, the Middle Ages equivalent is a book.
no, that's the Middle Ages equivalent.
What's in that?
No, that's the internet. That's the internet. But we've been imagining nefarious and secretive intent on behalf of governments forever.
And the real question is, why is it such a strong and enduring imagination? Because it's true, man.
It's all real.
No, you know why it's true? Because it's apolitical. The reason this pops up in the 1990s, all of a sudden people can go, okay, we can believe the government has this thing against us, but there's no political leaning. Like
All
you can,
governments.
left or right, you can go, governments are concealing aliens, and it's like, oh, there's no left wing thing, right wing thing about this. We can all think governments are concealing aliens. So it's the
So it brings us togetger. Conspiracies
in
unite us.
In some ways, it's the friendly conspiracy where you can join any neighbor, and you know how whinging about the weather, you can talk to anyone about that. Like that's something you can all.
Oh
talk
no, the
about.
government control the weather,
But
man.
in the same way, we can all be insane about aliens, like in the way that you can't do that with
With the weather?
No, I get what you're saying. I understand. It's the great uniter.
Yeah.
It's literally
for crazies.
Ignorance does bring us together. It's true.
Could we say that UAP could stand for like uniting all people?
Uniting
Then-
all people. Oh my God,
Yeah,
Dee.
that's
I can't
beautiful.
even.
You can't throw one out like that. Then I have to end this podcast. Like, like that's just a that's.
Sorry, I'm actually an alien, and you guys are talking too much about this.
Yeah.
Gotta keep us secretive.
There is something actually interesting as well. Why did alien
alien crossed the
fascination?
road.
No, why did alien fascination boom in the 1990s?
Because of the X-Files. No, because of Bill Clinton. No, because of the Rockefellers.
Or the
All the aliens.
Like I remember this early period in the internet where I remember people were hunting around for the Blue Book, and it's like the internet.
the Blue Book?
Project Blue Book was a real project by the Air Force in the 60s, and they made a TV show that I watched as a kid, and I loved it.
There you go. The Blue Book was a listing of all of the UFO sightings by the Air Force, and it was a very classified book, and it was all hidden, and so they mentioned it a bit in the X-Files. But the interesting thing is early internet.
Allegedly real at some level.
Early public internet, so in the 90s, 1995, 96, same period as the X-Files.
Okay.
And so a lot of people, you're getting nascent connections in a network that now is far more established.
People who
and we
could
can
never
move-
have found each other
But
before.
you're kind of feeling, oh, I can talk to that person over there, and we can share little bits of knowledge. And then there's this belief that somewhere there might be a computer connected to the internet that has the Blue Book on it, and there's all the list. And so there's this starting of a belief that we can break down the system. This is the early libertarian internet.
It's real.
I know. The Blue Book. Yeah, I'm sure it's real. I'm sure
It's real. The internet's real too, man. It's not a conspiracy.
Look, I'm going to go back to your question before, like about
had a question?
Would you be interested in UFOs? I'm fascinated to read about this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great place to be skeptical because just it's
Like vaccines.
no. Stop being an like it's a great fun read, but does it matter? Show me a spot where aliens are actually affecting our society. They're
Well,
not.
Velcro.
Oh, okay.
Microwaves.
I was going to say, well, if there is a threat, then that would be the motive
Yeah.
there. So I guess it's the
To unite us.
the possibility.
Yeah, sure, but they're not. I mean, if you're in,
How do you know that?
Okay, well,
So
maybe
confident. See, political
aliens.
science PhD. Yeah, everything.
Hey, come
Okay, maybe we can go a little bit beyond Lomberg on this. And
Oh,
just
then you
say,
gotta be reasonable.
Let's not waste our time on these things. Like it's fun as a hobby. Like I totally
You gotta get the accent right. We got other problems. We can solve the other problems first.
this
I'm not
is-
saying we shouldn't explore it.
This
I'm
is
just
it.
saying we should spend the money.
This is it. It's fun as a hobby, but I think Air Force pilots, whatever, writing down and documenting this—that's a sensible thing to do. That's a sensible scientific approach to say, let's get all the information we can, but let's not spend a lot more time, energy, money on this than we need.
Or
until-
counterpoint. Let's spend a lot more time, energy, and money on this because it's cool.
It's cool. It's not enough.
Counterpoint. Elon Musk is an alien from the future who came back here. He's trapped on Earth.
To call people pedophiles.
Maybe.
And he's got to use our shitty technology to get home.
He's trying to give us the technology so we can perfect it, so we can go home. Elon Musk is an alien.
I mean,
That's why I get so frustrated with people.
See?
Too. Yeah, it's because he's
As
like
an alien.
spent so long.
He doesn't understand. He's like, oh my god, these people are
so
still
stupid.
People are still burning coal. What do you
Frickin'
mean?
Neanderthals, yeah.
I gave them.
I do have one thing that I think is interesting is
is it UFOs?
No. The work that has been done or hasn't been done to identify protocols for how we would talk to aliens.
You know,
today.
a former deputy vice chancellor of this august institution was on the international committee to work out what do we do if they land.
Yeah, but he was an astronomer, and I have a big problem
Yeah.
with astronomers being on that committee because you know the number one thing that astronomers do, they look away.
astronomers.
They look at stars. Like that's awesome. I love astronomers. They're some of my favorite people. But
How many do you know? Name some.
Shout out to Brian Schmidt.
I know a bunch. I'm not going to name them here, but
Oh, yeah.
What, it's just Brian Schmidt. It's not-
I'm not against astronomers. Some of my best friends are astronomers.
what I'm going to say is that interactions with a brand new group of potentially friendly, potentially hostile, intelligent species.
Yeah.
What sorts of people would you want on that committee?
Physicists.
I mean, that's why they got a
bureaucrats.
linguist, wasn't it, on that movie?
Linguists.
The Arrival.
Was
The
it?
Arrival.
Yeah. I haven't actually watched
So
it.
here's the
but-
thing. I would take,
okay.
this is what you want. You want linguists. You probably want military people. You want people who have historical understanding of colonial encounters.
Yes.
You want people that might be looking at the politics of this and how you might deal with. I just think this idea that people that focus on the physics of it, that's the wrong question.
To
The
be
right
fair, I
question
don't
is
think he was the
threat
only
versus-
person on the panel.
I just think
There was another guy.
Here's me diving in with opinions on a place that I think, well, who cares about anyone's opinions? So
I think you do care.
He seems to care a lot because he jumps in a lot, doesn't he?
This is actually, you know, of the 9,500 episodes we've done, this is the most excited you've been at the end of any of them.
maybe I care.
You are welcome.
Maybe I care.
I care too because I want it to be real and I want aliens because humans are dumb and aliens seem more interesting and I want to leave the planet in a way that's safe and comfy and fast.
You're right.
Do you want it
Sounds
to be
good.
real, D?
Sure.
She knows it's real.
Why not? Yeah. I already said before. When you're paying attention.
Full disclosure, I'm not from around here.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Interpret that as you will.
The Wholesome Show is, with great regret, brought to you by the Australian National Centre for the Public Awareness of Science and not for the public awareness of aliens. But, you know, it's a scientific project
All
with
in
some,
good time.
some
Remember,
legitimacy.
future PhD students, I'm waiting for you here.
I've been Will Grant.
Deanna Cato.
Matthew Fung.
I'm also Will Grant.